What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G of Two Gun Pixel presents Legendary Gaming. You know how much I love this subject. Well, now before we get into what I usually do here with the Midday Monologue Mondays, beginning of the month, top of the month, where I come at you with comments and answer anything I can. And anyone that can jump on, I give you a chance for an AMA. Go ahead. I'm here. I'm ready to answer. But there's something that's been happening for the last couple of weeks, which has finally come to a head and apparently all evened out. And everything's apparently cool or coolish right now. But still, it doesn't change what's been going on. I want to address that first. I really felt like I wanted to do that live. So what I'm talking about is Dungeons and Dragons, Wizards of the Coast, WotC, whatever the hell you want to call them, and everything that has been going on for like the last month when they first dropped the information about the OGL2 and all those horrible changes that they were not implying, that they were actually going to be going through to do. And thank goodness the community has rallied against the idiocy that they were trying to be force-fed. And so apparently everything is cool now. Apparently they kind of just dropped their guns and given up, more or less. I mean, I'm still not happy about the idea that moving forward they want to digitize everything, that they want the books and the maps and everything to be nothing more than collector's items, and they want to get rid of DMs and have everything done through an AI. I'm not happy about that, but that is not entirely what I'm kvetching about right now. What I'm talking about is the obvious elephant in the room. There's an 800-pound gorilla on our shoulders that nobody has been addressing. And I've been going down this rabbit hole watching so many different individuals, people I've never even heard of before, talk about all the problems that's been going on with WotC and D&D. And not a single person, no one, has mentioned the obvious. And I think this is because so many of those that rallied against it publicly online here and on other mediums are financially involved, invested in D&D not changing. Now, before I continue, I just want to point out that I'm not against anyone at all monetizing themselves or their hobbies. I'm not against that. But I do understand that once you monetize a hobby, and that monetization becomes a massive, if not only, part of your income, then it is no longer a hobby to you. It has to be about the money. Okay? That's where I'm coming from. And I think that is the reason why nobody mentioned the most obvious thing that anyone can think of, that anyone could do, anyone can say, concerning the whole Dungeons and Dragons fiasco, the Wizards of the Coast, the OGL2, 3, 4, who knows down the road what they're going to do and what they're going to change. Oh, they've given up now. But the one thing that no one has mentioned is we don't need D&D. Grasp your pearls. It's true. You don't need one new D&D book, campaign setting, character sheet, nothing. There is not one product for D&D that you ever need to spend your money on again. No, not at all. Why? Take a look. Just stop for a moment and take a look at the massive amount of Dungeons and Dragons material that is currently already available. Not just the official Wizards of the Coast stuff, not even the old official TSR stuff. I mean everything. Every single thing that has ever been published on or about Dungeons and Dragons, even on personal fan sites. You look at the massive amount of D&D library and content there is out there. Plus, on top of that, the old school D&Ders, we know this, but apparently it has to be spread. The word has to be told. You don't need the rules. You don't need the books. No one ever did. Gary even said that himself because he knew that was the truth. We are playing a game of imagination. And it doesn't matter what world setting you want. It doesn't matter whether you want a world where Forgotten Realms has same-sex marriage or one that it doesn't matter. It's your world to play however you want, create however you want. You have massive amounts of material already that are out there. Absolutely anything you want to put in your campaign has either been in print already officially, has been in print unofficially from some fan site and homebrew page, or any of the mechanical rules that you need to create whatever this is you want to create in D&D. It hasn't already been put out somewhere. The rules are there for you to do it yourself. We don't need one more Pathfinder product. We don't need one more massive, already available RPG system. It's here. Everything you could possibly want to do for a campaign in Dungeons and Dragons in any of the campaign settings, officially or unofficially, is available to you. You can do this without Wizards of the Coast. It's true. You can do this without Pazio. You can do this without any company, Crit Role, anyone that makes money selling you their D&D. You don't need, because they've put it all out. Everything's been out in print. You can find anything either in print or PDF form anywhere about any bit of information you want on D&D. And if it's not there, officially or unofficially, the rules are there for you to create it. Homebrew, everything. D&D has always been about homebrew. It's always been about my rules, my campaign. Your rules, your campaign. That, at the core, is what Dungeons and Dragons has always been. Anything else isn't D&D. Anything else that has to be so rigidly codified and ruled and stamped out into existence, like a grape you're trying to turn wine into, but really all you're getting is vinegar here in this case. No, I have most of the, I'm looking at them right now, I have most of the first edition stuff, basic stuff, second edition stuff, and third edition stuff. I have a few stuff for fourth and a few stuff for fifth. I don't need anything else. If Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro go bankrupt tomorrow, if they go out of business and for some odd reason every IP they own goes out of existence with them, including D&D, we still have enough to do whatever we want. It's not like they're coming to your house, collecting your books and burning them. It's not like they're erasing it from the internet. You have it all, everything. Why is anybody complaining? Why is anybody crying about, oh, they can't do this in their world, we can't do this in our world, and they want to force us to do this and that? Get off the carousel, okay? Because that's all it is. They just turned us into monkeys riding a carousel here. Get the hell off it, okay? The biggest illusion that TSR and Wizards of the Coast, they perfected it, have ever cast would make the gnomish pantheon jealous. The way they've cast this illusion over all of us that we need to keep buying everything they put out in order to have a fun campaign, in order to have the campaign you want to put together. No, you don't. Stop listening to them. They're nothing but mad gnome illusionists. Okay? Darius Dunn has carved his way into their brain through insanity. That's what it feels like. Dungeons and Dragons nowadays, it feels like a golem that they are massively trying to keep alive. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger and more shambling every edition of the game until now if it wasn't a construct, it would be undead. Get the hell off this carousel ride. Every book you have for D&D, whether it's in physical form or PDF form, whatever you have available to you is going to be everything you need. And when I say available to you, I mean available. What can you download? What can you save? What can you find? All the rules are there. Absolutely anything you want to do in any campaign setting. Screw them. No, I'm serious. I'm not just saying it flippantly here. I mean, absolutely. Screw Wizards of the Coast, screw Hasbro, screw old TSR stuff. Every damn company that has half the amount of RPG material that D&D or Pathfinder has, screw them. They've already given you everything. Everything they have. There's nothing you can't do. And like I said already, if they stop publishing tomorrow, your campaign will still survive. Now, going back to why I started this, now you understand why no one else is saying this? Because they're all in it for money. Everyone on YouTube that's talking about D&D, it's running D&D campaigns, that's involved in this world, they're making money off of it. So of course, if they stop printing books and materials, and they make everything free, and they stop publishing shit, then all these secondary people whose lives have revolved around, how they feed their children, how they send their kids to school, how they put clothes on their back. When that's all revolved around one certain thing, like in this case, Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons, no, they're never going to tell you the obvious truth. You don't need them. You don't need Wizards of the Coast. Everything you need for a fantasy game has been put out by Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Fantasy games, science fiction games. Hell, with my second edition Mutants and Mastermind stuff, I have everything I need to create the perfect superhero campaign anytime I want. With the D20 modern stuff, I can create any post-apocalyptic campaign I want. Hell, I've even written out in my head how I would do Werewolf the Apocalypse in a D20 form. But I don't have to because I still have all my Werewolf Apocalypse books, or most of them anyway. So I don't need anything else. You don't either. Give your damn wallet a break. That's what's been pissing me off so much. And I know this has come up a couple of times. There's been a couple of individuals have reached out to me and asked me what I think during this whole fiasco that's been going on. And I really needed a live medium like this to get myself across, I think. So that's why I waited. I waited till now, this moment, to really delve into it. I couldn't type this out as an answer. God. It's ridiculous, this whole situation. Just stop. Just stop. End Wizards of the Coast and every other RPG company out there. It's not like Monopoly. If your Monopoly board or board game breaks or something, you're going to need to go get a new physical board game. Whatever happened, the dog ate Park Place. Right off the damn board. But it's not like that with D&D. Because everything is, nowadays, available in PDF form. You can't play, you can play Monopoly on video game and stuff, but I think you see what I'm getting at here. RPGs are so much different when it comes to any other game system out there. If I lost half the pieces for Big Trouble in Little China here, I would have to find something to take its place or buy a new version of the game. Maybe contact the company to see if they have replacements. Some companies do that, some don't. But it's not like that with RPG stuff. Everything you have for D&D, you don't need one more goddamn thing by Wizards of the Coast. Everything that you could possibly ever want to do in any campaign setting for Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder, I guarantee you, has either already been put in print or the rules to create what you want is already out there. We don't need them. But screw them. Screw Wizards of the Coast. Screw Hasbro. Screw Pathfinder. Screw Pazio. Screw all of them. Not one of them is needed anymore. D&D should be back in the hands of the group. The D&D group. Handle your own group. And what I mean by that is you have your own campaign setting, or you've bent and mutated a existing campaign setting to fit what you and your players want. You have all the rules, you have all the books, you have everything. Just do it. You don't need them. Screw them. And because I'm not making a damn penny off of anything that has to do with Dungeons and Dragons or Wizards of the Coast or TSR or the Gygax name, I'm not making a penny off of any of that. I don't care. And I'm here to tell you the truth. You don't need them. And not one of them will tell you that because their wallets are deep in making money off of D&D. So they want you to keep buying their homebrew products. The OGL is letting them sell. That is all it's become. All we're doing is keeping other people's kids clothed and fed. If you want to do that, that's fine. But me, I have a 5-tier shelf of almost every single first edition, second edition, third edition book ever put out. I have some of the fourth and fifth stuff. I don't need them. Any and every campaign I am ever going to run for the rest of my life, I have the information to do. All right, so that was a 15-minute rant to start things off. But I feel glad. I've been wanting to do this for like the last week. I've been like, I got to do a video on this. And I usually stay away from the more political stuff, usually. But this time, this goes beyond politics as far as I'm concerned. This is affecting the wallet of every single gamer out there, whether it's affecting the wallet because of the amount of stuff that you got to buy, or it's potentially affecting the wallet because you publish stuff and you don't want anyone to hear what I'm saying, that they don't need you. Follow the money, right? Isn't that one of the oldest phrases? Follow the money, and you're going to find out what the hell is going on and by who. But we can't get that. We still got time. It's only been 16 minutes now. Let's jump in. There's a few things here. I want to say thank you to Cameron Mass. I want to say thank you to Cameron Mass because Tales from the Table, D&D Kundraka, the Mountain Door Part 2, the Bridge of Doom, he enjoyed very much and said, this video is super high quality and really fun to watch. Well, that means a lot to me. Because as I've said before, I really struggle with my identity as far as editing and putting together videos. I always question that. So that's why it means a lot when somebody points that out. So Cameron, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video, to comment. Thank you for taking the time for that. And I hope you're a subscriber. If not, hopefully you'll find something we do one day that'll mean enough so you'll hit that subscribe button for us. As of right now, we're like only 25 subscribers away from hitting 1,500. 25 or 26 away from hitting 1,500. I mean, it's not a huge number. It's not a number one would normally brag about, but to me, I like it. I like the sound of it. 1,500. Yo, you got 1,500 subscribers. Whoa. It's a small number in a big C, but it's gonna make me really happy. So we'll get there soon. So thank you very much, Cameron. Shogunstein, you're always around, brother, and I appreciate that so much. Glory, A Game of Nights by Strategos Games. You say that you've been having trouble finding this. I've heard that before. Reading about this game, seeing other comments that people have made on other, reviews and stuff. Apparently, being a backer, and I haven't looked into this officially since, but being a backer of the game from the second time. So they did 2 backings for it. The first was more European and Polish based, and then they did the American Kickstarter for it to help build the game up even better, which seemed to have worked. I don't think they had a lot in excess made beyond the Kickstarter number. I would say for you, Shogunstein, or absolutely anybody that's interested in this game, Glory, which is a game about knighthood, has nothing to do with fantasy. It's all based on real, 1500s real European knights, or 1600s maybe. The time period is a little bit lost to me. It incorporates real knights in the game, and it's made as historically accurate as they could try to get it. And it's a very fun worker placement style game to get your knight good enough to compete in the joust and win some big tournaments. So it is a fun game. I'm sorry you haven't been able to find it. Honestly, at this point, I think the best thing for you or anyone else to do is contact Strategos Games and find out from them if they have any more in stock and warehouse, if they're going to be republishing a new edition of it. It was not exclusive game like others are, like Way of the Samurai. I could be wrong on that, but still, that's going to be the best bet, I think, to contact Strategos Games about that. Oh, pardon me. That's the one thing about editing. If that happens, I can just and then edit it out. So, pardon me. All right, Shogunstein again for a video, a midday monologue I did on my shelf of shame. Again, I don't have a shelf really of games I haven't played yet. It's a phrase. If you're unaware with it, if you're new to the hobby, shelf of shame is just a reference to games that you have bought and have yet to get to the table to play. And in this video, I mentioned 3 of them that I really want to try this year, particularly the next few months, hopefully. Really try to make time and get them off the shelf and onto the table and played. And Shogunstein says, it seems that this hobby has become more and more about collecting for many versus playing. The shelf of shame is a badge for some. The economy must be so good. I love your sarcasm there because we both know it isn't, implying that individuals, maybe like me, are being wasteful of money. And I'm not going to address that part of the statement. I get it. There's no need for me to address it. I'm cool with that. But I do want to address what you're saying about this hobby. It seems to you that the hobby is becoming more about collecting for a lot of the players. And by players, I think what you mean is content creators. Because I don't know any player who's not a content creator, who actually has anything to rival this. And mine doesn't even rival most content content creators. So no, I don't think the average gamer is actively going out and having a huge gaming collection. I think there's one friend in a gaming group who has a massive, ever-growing collection. The true collectible hobbyist in this case. While everyone else in the gaming group, I'm sure they go out and play games. I know most of the guys around my table, the 20-sided warriors as I call them, they have their own game collections. Some a few, some more. But generally, it's just the one person in a group. See, this harkens back to a lot of the problems TSR had with Dungeons and Dragons in the early days, right? Which is still a bit of a problem that any RPG company is going to have. And that comes down to the fact that there's one DM and anywhere from an average 4 to 6 players. And the 4 to 6 players don't need half as many, a quarter as many of the books as a DM, a prepared. I was going to say good, but that's wrong. A prepared DM may have a huge collection of books at their disposal, while the players, I suggest every player of any RPG have a copy of the player's handbook for that game. But outside of that, there's not a lot of books that players need to spend money on, so I don't see them spending money on a lot of the extra books. And it's the same way with the board games. As I was saying, you got the one person in the group, like me, who just keeps collecting, and others that get a couple of games here and there they like, you know? But yeah, I think you're right. I think the image that's being portrayed by, yes, myself, as well as the other board game content creators does really, it either strengthens or it appears to strengthen in some cases, depending on the point of view, the perspective, the idea of you need to have a massive board game collection if you're a board gamer. And you don't. You don't. Me, even if I wasn't a hardcore gaming dude like this, I still say I would have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would probably have about 10 shelves, not shelving units, 10 shelves. And most of these, except for 2 of them, are 2 of them are 4 shelf units, the rest of them are all 5. So technically, even if I wasn't a huge, geeky collector like this, 2 shelves with 5 shelving units on each one of them would be all I would need. That's it. That's all I would need. But yeah, I think that, and there's a reason. There's a reason. Why would they want to? Me, I'm not doing it purposely. But why would a lot of the others that are making money off of this, why would they want to present the image of spending all one's money on board games? Mostly because most of the other content creators on this subject do not spend a dime on board games. And even some of the ones that do spend a little bit of money here and there on board games, there's so many kickbacks. When you're in the professional grade level of what I'm doing here as an amateur for fun, when you get to that level, you're getting compensated for making appearances at the gaming convention, just going to a gaming convention. Cruises, you're getting compensations for all this, even if you're not directly getting a ton of free games. But then again, you kind of are at the same time anyway, because all these companies want you, because you have 1 million viewers, they want you to advertise Batman the Animated Series. So they send you a copy of everything. So yeah, they're getting this stuff absolutely for free. And because of that, it's garnering this image, I think, that to be into this hobby, you're either going to be, just a part-time Kalei. I have a copy of Monopoly and Catan, and I'm not really into a lot of other board games. Or you're going to be more like me, which is like, oh, yeah, I get more. There's very little gray area, I think, in this whole area. But it makes you think that you need to keep buying and buying and buying and buying. But to harken back how I started this video about Dungeons and Dragons, and we don't need another goddamn book ever published for D&D ever again, and we can still all have the campaigns we want to play. It really is the same thing with board games. I mean, you think about it. I mean, right here, this entire shelf is just fantasy games. Not even D&D. I got D&D and mythology on the other side of the camera, which could both fit into fantasy, right? But this is all just fantasy. How many of these games that I have, maybe I should do a series on this. How many of the games that I have are so damn similar to another one? Like why do you have it? How many dungeon delving games do I need? Let's think about this for a second. So I got Hero Quest. I wouldn't call Dark Tower a dungeon delving game because this is more going around the land. So we'll keep that out of this. Look at dungeon delving. We got Hero Quest. We got Role Player, depending on if you're playing any of the expansions, you could definitely do some dungeon delving in that. Warhammer Quest, Bag of Dungeon, Mini Quest Adventure, Unbroken, Conan, Wildlands, Iron Helm, Questeros. So many of the tiny epic fantasy games. It's all about dungeon delving. It's the same goddamn story. We don't really need it. And actually, it's been in the back of my head for a while now. And the truth of the matter is, I kind of feel I'm done with board games, generally speaking. Because I don't know why I would need anything else. Because really, if I'm going dungeon delving nowadays, all I'm playing is Hero Quest. And if I want to play something else, I got the D&D Adventure system up here that I'm looking at that's really fun, and then die in the dungeon, because that's different. You're fighting off the murder hobos instead of being a murder hobo. But I don't think that if I really got into it deep, there'd be more than 5 dungeon delving fantasy board games that would end up being keepers if for some odd reason I had to get rid of 90% of my collection. Don't ever say that. I just jinxed myself. No. But yeah, could there be more than 5? After that, everything else is the same. There's some subcategories, I would say, like maybe you'd want a good dice version of a board game or a card game that, get things up a little bit different. Maybe you'd like to have a stronger dice collection or card collection than an actual board collection. But that's just cutting hairs. Really, basically, how many superhero games do you need? I mean, really. Do I need anything else from Marvel? Because I've got everything for the Marvel Champions, and I'm planning on continuing that. There are games I'm going to continue, collecting, but that's existing games. I don't see the point that I need to keep buying basically the same game over and over again. Has anyone else realized that? Anyone else in board gaming realized that but me? That after a certain number, and I'll let you decide what your number is here, but let's just say for the sake of argument here, like since I already brought up 5, do you really need more than 5 board games about one spaceship shooting another? Or more than 5 games about one group delving into a dungeon? How many do we need? The rule mechanics are either so wildly different or so minutely different, it's insane. It's the same story being told. It's the same tabletop adventure that you're going on. But yet, we keep buying the same thing over and over again, basically. So, okay, you know how I often brag about the fact that I'm usually a good 2-3 months ahead of schedule for my non-live videos. Well, that is true. But what I'm talking about when I say that is like a full month. So I have right now, I'm at 2.5. I kind of let things slide a little bit. I'm at 2.5 full months of pre-recorded videos up already. But I have videos up for the rest of the year scattered here and there that I already have done. And that includes unboxings. I literally have enough boxings for the rest of this year, going halfway into next year. And by the end of this year, the following year, I'll have enough videos to finish out that whole year. But you're going to be seeing a change. You are going to be seeing a change of more RPG stuff. Because even though I was saying before about the books and everything, that's true and that stands true. But the one thing about RPG stuff that I still am going to be buying and spending money on is that's pieces, scatter, terrain. Oh, I love that stuff. To be able to build the table up, just make it look like what we're doing. So you're going to see a lot more as the year goes on. It's going to trickle in here and there, some battle system stuff, some Tidy Boss stuff, some Litgo stuff, all based around RPG stuff. But yeah, I think, Shogun Stain, I think we're done. We're done. What else could they possibly put out for a board game that's going to be so radically different that a huge-ass collector like me or anyone else that does this seriously for money, what else do we need? I'm not saying that sarcastically. I'm saying that quite honestly. Because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something is going to come out that I'm going to go, oh my God, how can I live without that? But I don't see that happening at this point anymore. I mean, I lost count. I got like 500 games. What else do we need? It's all about the show, Shogunstein. That's all any of these other content creators are doing. They're putting on a horse and pony show because it's all about the money for them. If you're not running a for fun channel, something's wrong. Something's off. Something's not right. Well, no matter how much fun the channel may be. Clean Sweep 38. Another regular of ours. Thank you so much for continuing to stick with us all these years, Clean Sweep 38. For the same thing, the Shelf of Shame. Wow, that really went on for a tangent. Clean Sweep 38 had 2 comments. I have many sealed games that I would like to play, particularly Santa Monica. I have some old school games like Stay Alive, Stratego, and I have some of the home version game shows like the TV show Concentration. When I read that, I busted out laughing. Back in my early days when I was drinking, far too young legally, me and my friends would grab the cheapest beers we could find and go down to the park, hang out on the benches with a big blasting radio. And what I found for being a new drinker at that time, the best bang for my buck was a 40-ounce called Ballantine. I don't even know if they still make it. I haven't looked for it in decades. But what I loved about Ballantine was it hit my head pretty nice. It got me a good alcohol high. What I liked about it is after you have about 2 or 3 of the 40s, and you're not thinking straight. The caps, the inside of the cap on Ballantines used to be Concentration. And if you don't know what Concentration is, I think it was a board. Yeah, there was a board game of it. There was a TV show, game show about it. What that Concentration is reading images. So if it says I love you, it would be an I, it would be a heart, and then maybe a female sheep, a you. I love you. So yeah, you have about 3 or 4 of those 40 ounces, and then you try to read those things, and you make a contest out of it with your other drunk friends. It's a pretty fun night for new drinkers, for young new drinkers. Drink responsibly. Don't want to try to get in trouble because I told people to start drinking like idiots. No. You don't need a lot, just a little. Clean Sweep also had to say villainous. Again, about the Shelf of Shame, villainous. You see right there. Woo! Haven't gotten off the Shelf of Shame yet. Villainous, I definitely want to watch. I own and have played Champions of Midgard with the expansions, and it's long, but it's fun. They have some promo cards available in the Board Game Geek store. I'll have to take a look and see if I have those, because I know that T-Bone had gotten me. Well, I had gotten Champions of Midgard, but it was just the very base what they sold in the stores. Anthony went out and he bought me the whole kit and caboodle. He went and got the whole Kickstarter special, deluxe, all in for me. So that may have the promo cards. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look. I'll look into that. But I'm glad to hear that although fun, because it did seem long to me looking at the game, but that is fun. Yeah, that too. It definitely seems fun to me. So I'm glad you thought so, because you and me tend to think that a lot of the same games are fun there, Clean Sweep. Oh, so I did a playthrough of The Abandons, a Pixie playthrough. Love that game. Nowadays, it's become the perfect game for when I feel like gaming, but something's off, something's wrong. It's too late, I'm too tired, or whatever. But I still want a game. Oh, it's a perfect little solo game for that. So The Abandons, all clean sweep for these comments. I just watched Spook Manor, and it reminded me of this small footprint game. I don't know Spook Manor. Now I want to. So thank you for that information. When realigning the card was oriented right, but you relocated it. Yeah, that happens. When I'm having fun talking to the camera, playing the game, sometimes I miss things. Oh, we all know that. But good catch there, Clean Sweep. Yeah, you're in Quakertown, PA. You mentioned that because I said I was in PA for that weekend. For that Saturday, right? That was I didn't know you were so close. Very cool. Hope you had a great weekend. I did fix it. You didn't notice that I fixed an alignment there. Okay, cool. I caught something right about that. And then have a good week as always, and thank you for the play. I want to thank you. I mean, you're not just for watching my videos. You're really polite. I like politeness. It goes far with me. All right. Starship Chiro Studios. Oh, I love that name. For a tabletop takeout. So you've been eaten by Luda Creations. Thank you for introducing this game. It's definitely an original concept. They could make a Star Wars version based on the scene of the Millennium Falcon and the asteroid beast from The Empire Strikes Back. You're brilliant. They could. As soon as you said that, everything fell into place. I saw everything about this game in that point of view. And wow, if some company or Scott Arms could get the rights to do a Star Wars game, that'd be perfect to translate this game to the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Oh, good eye, Starship. Good eye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting again, you and everyone else. Jen Washy. Jen, I don't think we've seen you here in a while. Jen Washy for what's in the Pixies box of Sparkworks. Yeah. That was one of, I did 3 Sparkworks videos, right? On 3 different Princess Bride games that they have out. And you said, curious what you think after playing. The movie was super fun to watch. So far, these games have been really enjoyable for me, my wife, friends, non-gaming friends, but particularly with the Sparkworks stuff. The Ravensburger Adventure playthrough book is a completely different monster. But that's fun as well, although it's not Sparkworks. But Jen, thanks for sticking around. Nice to see you again. Hope everything with you and yours are well. Paper Dungeons, a Friday night filler. Looks like I made a lot of mistakes that Clean Sweep caught. I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of comments from Clean Sweep here. Hey, Big Giant G. Great angle, but if you can zoom in more next time. Oh, is this the one? I should have done this. I should have had the camera to see. I do have something for overhead, and I've used it a few times, but it's not quite high enough, so it doesn't get as wide an angle shot. So some games kind of get lost on that. I'm trying to get better camera shots. I know I got to do better and more overhead shots because it really would help with a lot of the games I play. Right about that. Yeah, it does have nice components. It does. For what it is. It does have nice components. The cards are nice. It comes with its own pencils. Okay, I did a bit of a zoom in. You were happy with that. I think not understanding the dice rolls yet, I would try to level up all the characters equally. Okay, the reason I didn't do that, and you point out you don't understand the game enough yet, is because you're fighting the monster bosses one at a time. Monster boss 1, 2, and 3. And you can't fight them until you've taken enough turns. I think it's 8, right? It's 8 each one, 8 actions on each of the 3 rounds, so to speak. And at the end of that, you fight Monster 1. If you have passed through or are in the room designated for Monster 1. You don't have to be in it. You just have to have passed through it. But if you're in it, it's okay. So the reason I was leveling up or trying to concentrate on leveling up one of the adventurers at a time, is because each of the monsters you're facing has a weakness against a certain character type. So that's why I wanted to make sure that going into each battle, the main character that could damage that appropriate villain was all maxed up. And that was my reasoning. That was my reasoning for that clean sweep. He also said maybe they should have included a player aid card to help players remember the secrets. Yeah, that's always helpful, man. I love it. Whenever I see that a game has published with a card, player aid card, me and the guys let's call it little cheat cards. That goes so far in helping the players and myself all learn the game. It's a great learning curve, and when a company doesn't do it, the first thing I think of is they cheaped out. That's the first thing I think of, is they decided to shave a couple of pennies here and there by having one less card or four less cards, how many they would want to put in each of the games. And honestly, when it comes to those cards, even though I want to see one for each player, technically, as long as you have one card to sit in between each player around the table, that's usually good enough, because then you can look here, you can look here, yeah, someone else's, and the card's right there. They're right here for you, and they are for the next player over and the next player over as well. So that's fine. If they had that many in the deck, that's cool with me too. But yeah, they do need some more of those. Let me see. Oh, clean sweep. Oh, I did a Brawling board games, one of my new segments that I'm doing on Thursdays here. I did Zombie Dice versus Batman the Animated Series, the dice game in this challenge. And Clean Sweep 38 says that he's played Zombie Dice up to 8 only one time. The larger number you get, I mean, yeah, it does add in time because everyone has to wait for the next previous person to do their roll. But that's the only downtime there is just the rolling. You know, like some games, the downtime, you know, has other players, you know, going through all these different actions that they're able to do, shopping things that they can go to, and it can really get bogged down. But with a game like either of these two, it's not going to get as bogged down. It's not. So I imagine that the 8 wasn't that hard of a game for you guys, because we haven't had a problem with higher player counts on this either. But Zombie Dice, you can play up to, as it said, doesn't it say like 99? Because technically you can play with as many as you want. Yeah. And you Clean Sweep, say you think having the variant villains giving Batman that slight edge over a zombie game, as it gives the game more replayability, and if they wanted to, they could make expansions with new villains. There's one. They have like a promo card out, promo die, I guess, for or promo card for Mr. Freeze. But as far as that 5th option goes, that you can try to get from stores, collectors, or something, the company, Cryptozoic, whatever, I don't think they've come out with anything else. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I'd love to know. But I don't think they've come out with anything else, and I don't think that's in the product lineup. But it'd be nice if they did. Yeah, it would be. Tabletop Takeout, Godzilla Tokyo Clash by Funko Games. Shogunstein is back with comments. Good to see you, brother. Again, you want to know, do I remember with a guy in Crazy Eddie commercials who put on the Godzilla mask during the Crazy Eddie ads on Channel 11 back in the day? If you're not from the East Coast and you're watching this video, you might not know what Shogunstein is talking about Crazy Eddie. So here in New York City and the surrounding area, there was a series of stores called Crazy Eddie's. And there were electronic stores that were selling electronics at unbelievably cheap prices, which is another story in itself. But they hired a radio DJ to be their on-camera spokesman. And a lot of people thought he was Crazy Eddie. They thought he was the owner of the store. He's a really nice guy. He's a DJ, did some voiceover work. But on the commercials, he was crazy. We're practically giving it all away. I don't remember the Godzilla mask on, but what I do remember is during Christmas time, he had that Christmas hat on. He'd be all Christmas decked out, and there'd be like stage hands off camera, and he'd sound like chucking like, you know, fake snowballs at him, and he's like hawking the products, you know. Oh, we're so crazy, we're practically giving it all away. Oh, Crazy Eddie was a character. You can find him on YouTube. Just YouTube Crazy Eddie commercial. The guy was insane. The marketing was amazing. I love that marketing, but it wasn't sustainable because I think the reason most of their products, I could be wrong, I'm not casting any legal doubt on anyone, but I kind of remember that there was some question about how they got things so cheap to be able to sell even cheaper. But I'm gonna leave that. But yeah, Crazy Eddie. Woo, they gotta find someone that can do those commercials again, and they gotta bring back Crazy Eddie again. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. But I miss those. Godzilla Tokyo Clash, you also say, Shogunstein, is a bit more fidgety than it should be. You're right about that. It definitely is. You say, I would recommend finding a Monopoly game or a Risk game from Goodwill and using those pieces to kick up Tokyo. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I think that the Monopoly houses and stuff might be a little small, and I wouldn't use them because, like, nothing else in the game board is just a red house or a greenhouse. I don't mean a greenhouse like plants, the color. It would just visually throw me off. But that's me personally. That's my own little OCD or mental problem, whatever the hell it is, that I don't like to see that kind of inconsistency. But aside from my personal opinion and like or dislike on it, you're absolutely right. It would kind of notch the game up a little bit visually, I think, to most players, even if not me. All right, we are more than 45 minutes into this, and you know what? I actually covered most of the comments from this month. I think that I wanted to go, because now we're starting to get into December, and so we're pretty much done there. So I think I'm going to go have some lunch, my friends. And please, if you remember anything at all that I said in this entire video, make sure it's the first 10, 15 minutes, because I think that's the most important part of this damn video. Go rewatch that. Tell your friends about it. Anyone who's money won't agree with me, though. All right, my friends, thank you very much for joining me, being a part of this. I love doing these live comments and viewer remarks and everything. It's great. I love it. So thank you very much, everyone. I'm your buddy Big John G with Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and